Thank you everybody so much for the support that you've shown not only this series, but all of the videos on my channel. I promise that there's a lot more in store as we keep growing as a community, and I hope that you'll be here for the ride. This video is also separated by roles, so timestamps are in the description if you want to fast forward to a certain role. Alright, cool, enjoy the video. You think your character has an obscene amount of counterplay because you have to deal with champions like Fiora, or Malphite, or Camille, but I'm here to remind you that the other 4 roles in the game exist and they have no counterplay against you. You definitely think that you're playing a champion whose skill ceiling is on par with champions like Zed, Ezreal, or Xerath because your brain is so small that you don't realize that your 15 passive abilities make the champion pilot itself. You're the type of person to type, "The best Camille in the world only builds Trinity Force, so why would I buy Divine Thunder, noob?" while being in Silver 2 and being 0-12 against a Scion. You poor, poor individual. Why? Why would you do this to yourself? Are you that much of a masochist? Also, yeah, you're probably into vor. You probably hate women, especially when you're against one. Yeah, that's the whole joke. Your IQ is actually so massive that you have to play the dumbest character in League of Legends so you actually can have fun because he lets you be the silly goofy goober that you so desperately want to be in real life. You don't have any friends. And not like you don't have any friends in real life, but you have a ton online. No, you just don't have any friends. You are simultaneously the most annoying and the coolest person that people meet, and it's all dependent upon whether your barrel crits or not. There's no doubt in my mind that you scream Demacia whenever you get a kill with your ult. You're probably the type of person that doesn't wash their hands after using the bathroom because you want someone to smell your finger. You don't have friends. And you don't deserve any either. In fact, you deserve every bad thing that's ever happened to you in your life. You go on to Rule 34 way too much. And so do I, let's go! If we went back through your chat logs, your most typed sentence would probably be, "Just let me split." You definitely think you're playing the most complicated character in the whole game and think it makes you look cool, but everyone hates you. I'm not doing it, 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 I'm not doing it. You definitely think you're playing the most complicated character in the whole game and think it makes you look cool, but everyone hates you. You're definitely insecure about your height in real life. If we went back through your chat logs, your most typed sentence would probably be, "Wait for me to hit 16. Yep. You know every single one of his lines by heart, even the ones that take like 10 seconds to get through, and I respect the fact that you respect the High Major Commodore of the 1st Legion 3rd Multiplication Double Admiral Artillery Vanguard Company. You have 2 brain cells. One is used to position your mouse over the enemy, and the other is used to press the R key, and it works. People forget you exist. You probably believe that people who play anything that counters you should be banned from playing League of Legends. That ain't much, but it's honest work. You know that if you played any other champion, your rank would plummet due to actually having to deal with crowd control. You think you're a Giga Chad, and you're not. You're a top laner. You think you're a Giga Chad, and you might be, but do you go to the gym? Do you rise above your enemies and never stand down? I didn't think so. Keep training. I'm not lying when I say I've been sitting here for about 30 minutes trying to come up with a joke to bash Poppy mains with, but I just can't think of one. Whether that's due to my lack of negative experiences with Poppy mains or my lack of experience in general because y'all are rare, I honestly have nothing to say. Which is probably worse than actually having something to say. You definitely hate yourself in real life. Boom! What up, Solo Renekton only here, back with some more League of Legends action, playing some Renekton up in the top lane and feeling like a Chad even though my head and the head of all Renekton mains could permanently blind a small child. Do I even need to say how many friends you have? I don't even have to make fun of you. Your insecurities do that for me. At this point, I'm just as shocked as anyone that you haven't moved to mid lane considering your champion sucks dick in this role with everyone that can dumpster him. This is what you think you look like. And this is what you actually look like. You probably take teleport while playing this champ and still somehow get outroamed by the enemy Renekton with Ignite. You either have the best macro play capabilities of anyone in League of Legends or think running around like a chicken with its head cut off is how you're supposed to play with absolutely zero in between. Also, you probably have over 2 million mastery regardless of how you play because this is the only champion you play. You really want to be the boss, and you really wish you could do inting Scion without actually just inting the enemy team and making everyone on your team hate you as you type, "just let me split." You probably saw someone play Tahm Kench top on YouTube, decided to try it yourself and realized it was fun and continued playing it. What I'm saying is that you're a bandwagoner. The builds that you play this champion with are some of the most deranged and downright innovative things to do your best to not be washed away the second a meta character looks at you funny. If we went back through your chat logs, your most typed sentence would probably be "keep yourself safe." You probably say "shotgun knees" like 12 times a day unironically. No one likes you. Your parents probably disowned you. Your girlfriend cheats on you because the thought of her being with another man gets you off, and if your dog understood English, he'd probably take his revenge for you taking his balls. You probably have to send a PowerPoint presentation in Champion Select explaining why Volibear top is not actually a troll pick and how he's actually better in top lane than jungle currently. You hate the idea of your actions having consequences. I don't think you were held enough as a child because you desperately crave attention. You watched a lot, and I mean a lot, of Zookill and think you're able to pull off the same anime-esque plays that he pulls off daily. You're not. If we went back through your chat logs, your most typed sentence would definitely be "just let me split." You don't have friends in real life, but you do have friends online. Unfortunately, you're too depressed to care whether it's real life or online. You like people thinking that you're going to be important, then absolutely dropping off the face of the planet right after people think that you're going to do something cool and then never being seen again. You definitely think your champion is weak because you can't just jump into 5 people, get a 5-man ult, and then instantly kill all of them by yourself while being down 3 levels. I don't know what's worse, the fact that you're playing a champion with a built-in oopsies button, or the fact that you're playing him in a role where if you're anywhere near competent, you'll never be down in levels because jungle XP is ridiculously terrible right now. Somehow, despite being in the game for so long, despite having the same pathing for over 10 years, despite literally doing the same thing every single game, top laners will still forget that you gank them at level 3. You definitely think your champion is weak because you can't one-shot tanks that are specifically building to counter magic damage, but still think you're weak when you can kill someone with no magic resist that's 2 levels up on you and 2 items up on you. You have without a doubt tried to imitate his voice lines and then gone into a coughing fit because it hurt your throat too much. You're not as much of a bastard for playing him here as you are if you play him top, but let's be honest, you still are one if you play him at all. You definitely grew up spoiled and think that if someone isn't giving you everything you want for free, then they're being unfair to you. You probably also believe that you're the main character of life itself and that the world didn't exist before you did. You probably think you're God's gift to the mankind while simultaneously providing nothing of value to society. You also do not have friends. At this point, I straight up believe that every Hecarim main I meet is actually just Dantes in disguise because they're sometimes inhuman in how they play, but also inhuman in what they type because I've seen an actual novel in chat about how Hecarim wanted Lulu and I wish I could forget it. If your stealing of the enemy jungler's buff with your smite level 1 doesn't work out, then you don't know what to do with yourself for the rest of the game. If your red buff to mid lane level 2 gank doesn't work out, then you don't know what to do with yourself for the rest of the game. You're just the worst type of human being, aren't you? You just hate the idea of your actions having consequences. You watch a metric fuck ton of anime, and if you use the Odyssey Kane skin, you are definitely the type of kid that Naruto ran in elementary school. Don't try and deny it. You think people like you, but nobody does. You will throw the game at Scuttlecrab to try to get your mark, or you will 1v9 carry with absolutely zero in between. You think it's cool that you spent a quarter of your life learning how to do cool mechanics instead of making friends. I'm sorry to Dumbs and all my other Lilia mains, but I'm letting out our secret. We're furries, it's true, we want to have sex with the dear Russie. I'm sorry, but it needs to be said, we are furries. You're like the Lorax, but instead of speaking for the trees, you speak for your teammates that didn't want to have another Maokai jungle and wanted to have an actual useful teammate. I don't know how your egos are so gigantic while playing this champion, but somehow Yi mains have the biggest egos out of any champion main despite playing a champion that only needs to hit one button in order to function. You think it's cool that you spent a quarter of your life learning how to do cool mechanics instead of making friends? I don't even think you exist anymore. Does anyone even play this champion? I swear to God, if you're not trying to be the next Kesha, then you're just trying to play Disco Nunu. You like being relevant in the early game only to fall off late game against every single champion. You only exist when the enemy team is full AD. You definitely ghost people if they say something in conversation that you weren't expecting. You only exist because Riot really wants Rel Jungle to work. I mean, they really want Rel Jungle to work given how many buffs they've given her. You think people like you, but nobody does. Nobody likes you, but unlike a lot of the other people on this list, you actually don't care because you know why nobody likes you and you're not going to stop doing the things that makes nobody like you. You're just crying and begging for Riot to rework this champion. You're probably crying because you're getting a rework soon, even though it is super necessary for him. You hate the idea of your actions having consequences. You definitely think that you're the most skilled player in every lobby you enter. Think. You just like the fact that this man is a little silly and potentially a little goofy and just want to troll in a non-toxic way most of the time, because sometimes you will troll in the actual toxic way, but it's okay because you're a little silly goofy goober type of dude. If your action comes with a consequence, then you're going to actively avoid doing that action. Also probably a Trick2G fanboy from even before the rework. Ever since the release of Arcane, you are a lesbian, regardless of if you're a girl or not. As someone who plays too much Viego myself, I know for a fact that you say his voice lines as often as you can, especially when you get a kill with his ult. You're sad that your champion gets nerfed for being good in pro play and literally not doing well in any role in solo queue despite being such a simple champion with such a low play rate. If your red buff to mid lane level 2 gank doesn't work out, then you don't know what to do with yourself for the rest of the game. You cannot enjoy League of Legends unless it actively involves ruining one of the team's enjoyments of the game. Enemy or ally, one of them isn't having fun and you love it. Go to horny jail. God, you could not be more of a weeb if you tried. You were probably the kid on the playground where when everyone was playing superheroes and someone said, "Ooh, I blast you with my heat ray," you'd be like, actually I'm immune to heat rays and so it bounces off of me and it kills you instead. Or when someone says, "I use my time stop ability," you'd be like, actually I went back in time and I made it so that you couldn't use that ability, so actually you lose. You have spent literal months of your life trying in vain to perfect a wall placement for this champion to make sure that people can't get away from your ult. And you still fail at it. I know for a fact that you yell, "Tibbers!" whenever you get a juicy ult. You're either still grieving from the rework he was given or only actually started playing him due to his rework. I feel like you're the type of person that functions off of their last 2 brain cells and about 10 cans too many of monster energies at any given time. If you somehow haven't moved from mid lane to support with this character, then I salute you for not giving into the meta. But then I take that salute right back because you're still playing Brand. I feel like there's a special place in hell for people like you who play a champion whose entire point is to scale into being a late game monster but has no actual bad points in the entire game. You hit one amazing package early on in your career of playing Corki and you've been chasing that high ever since. Your brain is ruined from the dopamine rush and you'll never get it again. Just because you have one ability that's hard to land doesn't mean that your entire kit is hard. You're like the Walmart Great Value brand of ADC mid lanes, because you're still an ADC, but you play more like a mage. You're still annoying and no one likes you for this though. It's like you wanted to be an assassin player, but you didn't want the consequences that come with being an assassin player, like needing hands or a brain. You're probably the chillest person that has ever played League of Legends. Like, I legitimately have never met a Galio main that wasn't an enjoyable person to be around, so good for y'all. You play the smartest and most annoying character in the game to make up for the fact that you have no friends and no one likes you. You think that queuing minions and getting half of your health bar back makes you into the next Faker, while in reality everyone hates you for it. You think you're really cool and play a hard champion because it takes so much effort to press your E and then shoot a Q through it. I mean, geez, who let the man with a PhD in astrophysics play League of Legends? Oh man. The fact that you're playing this champion, not even that you're playing her mid, just the fact that you're playing her at all tells me everything I need to know about you as a person. And it's not good. Despite the fact that you beg people to wait until you're level 16, you also beg people to FF after dying at 3 minutes because you thought tower diving a full health Scion was a good idea. I got a lot of comments on my Neferi video from pissed off cat mains talking about how she's actually a really hard champion and she requires so much game knowledge and proper use of her abilities and she can't do anything. She's actually really weak and really terrible. And all I have to say to that is, you poor children that have been deluded into thinking you need an IQ above 5 to play this champion. I'd say more, but at this point I don't think your brains could comprehend the words coming out of my mouth. You probably saw Bobkin playing this champion and thought, huh, that looks like fun, and now you can't go back. You poor bastard. What the fuck do I even say about this champion? Who the hell even plays her? And now that I've said this, I'm about to get 50 different "I'm Englishandra" comments in my comment section. You see, if you're good with a champion, you don't even play her in mid lane because you're too busy clearing the entire wave while it's still the enemy mid lane's tower before roaming. If you're good at the champion. You're not afraid to admit that you play one of the simplest and safest champions in the game because if it gets you LP, it gets you LP and you're not one to complain. I'd say it's too early for anyone to actually be a Neferi main, but if you consider yourself a Neferi main already, it's probably because you actually bark like a dog for pretty women in real life. You are gay. And that's not like in the derogatory sense, you're just a homosexual. Also, you probably like playing prop hunt. You hit one amazing ult early on in your career of playing Orianna and you've been chasing that high ever since. Your brain is ruined from that dopamine rush and you'll never get it again. If your level 2 flash W triple attack, proc press the attack, ignite Q doesn't kill the enemy laner, then you have no idea what to do with yourself for the rest of the game. You are the most insufferable type of person because if anyone plays a champion that can take you in a 1v1, you'll say they're playing a broken champion and then go right back to playing an assassin that can actually wipe out a whole team with a giant AoE CC ability on a fucking assassin. EQ, 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 EQ. You get a little dopamine rush every time you see your passive stacks going up to the point where you will risk your entire life just to get an extra stack. You loathe the idea of your actions having consequences, and somehow they never do either. I feel like there's a special place in hell for people like you who play a champion whose entire point is to scale into being a late game monster but has no actual bad points in the entire game. You poor bastard. Yeah, that's it. You've definitely attempted to do parkour in real life, but instead of jumping from building to building or something that's actually cool, you jump from your bed to the ground and yelled parkour! I don't even want to look at your search history because I know I'll see things that'll scar me. You'll either be an absolute god that uses your ult off cooldown and secures kills on all of the enemy side laners and jungler by 15 minutes, or you'll have made your R key be used as frequently as a gym membership 2 weeks after the new year. All you care about is stacks and trying to get that juicy pure one shot with your R, and if anyone tries to stop you from getting stacks, you'll probably tell them to keep themselves safe. Despite playing the champion that doesn't care about anything that's going on around her, you care too much about everything that's going on around you to the point you'll nitpick anything that anyone on your team does regardless of if it's bad or not. You're not like the other Vel'Koz mains because you play him mid lane and not support, and you know how to hit your skill shots and press R at the right time to do true damage. You have some of the biggest ego possible despite playing a champion that a paraplegic frog could play. I feel like there's a special place in hell for people like you who play a champion whose entire point is to scale into being a late game monster but has no actual bad points in the game. You are just some of the cringiest people to exist to the point where you have different fucking anime style names for the combos that you can pull off on this champion. Look, I'll level with you, it's 2 in the morning as I'm writing and recording this, so just like imagine that I said something funny here and go in the comments and say something like, wow, that Yone joke was so accurate about Yone mains, thanks. You definitely Naruto ran all the way up to high school, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you still did it to this day unironically. You will die if it means that you get to see the insane numbers that pop up when you're taking turrets. You spend every waking moment of your life on Rule 34. Stop it. Go to jail. Get some help. Please. Just so you know, ADC mains, you deserve this. You went to college, got a degree in physics, went to grad school, ended up pursuing a doctorate, got a PhD in theoretical physics, wrote 15 different peer-reviewed studies, won a Nobel Prize in physics, got married, had 2 separate children who both went on to become some of the most intelligent people on the planet, and you still don't know how to play this champion properly. You probably fall somewhere between being an auto-filled ADC who just wants to play something that will be able to help your team when you inevitably go 0-10 because your team saw that you were auto-filled and decided to ignore bot lane harder than I avoid social events where I don't know everyone who will be there, and an ADC that sees the usefulness of this character and decided to main her because even if you go 0-10 you can still be super beneficial for your team. Either way, you probably absolutely love or absolutely hate the absurdly long voice lines that this character has. Oh boy, do I get to call someone else gay for the 9,000th time because they only liked this character after they saw Arcane? Yes, I do. You are gay. You are a lesbian. You are a big part of the LGBT community, and honestly, that's kinda awesome that you're so accepting of yourself. Again, this all applies to you even if you're a dude. Look, if you're not trying to be the next T1 or Hums or insert other generic Draven player here that calls all of his teammates idiots, then you're probably not an actual Draven main. And I say this knowing full well I'll see my comments be like, "No, I'm better than T1, you should actually check me out on Twitch, I'm better than that loser." And you're doing one of those no mic, no face cam, only dubstep music streams that no one actually likes watching outside of stream highlights. By God, do you think that you are the coolest person to ever exist and probably think that nothing you could ever do would be the reason that you lose games? I swear, it's almost comical at this point to see y'all roasting your teammates in all chat and swearing you're not the problem while being 0-20 because you never use your E to get away from the danger, you only use it to go into melee range against the Jax. 4. Look, we all know that you were influenced just a little too much by the old Harley Quinn from Batman the Animated Series, and I'll be honest, I definitely am as well, but you need to remember the cardinal rule because mating Jinx is very indicative of your type in women. Do not stick your dick in crazy. You love that Riot will never nerf this champion properly because her ass is so goddamn fat that they need to keep her relevant or nerds on the internet won't spend all of their money on her next prestige skin. You're the nerds on the internet if that wasn't clear. You cry yourself to sleep every single night wishing that Riot didn't do everything that they did to this champion to keep her weak for so long and still do to make sure she's never truly the most effective pick, all because she has one of the most game-breaking passives if she's anywhere near being strong. You get no bitches, absolutely no hoes, no female attention. The last woman to give you any sort of physical affection was your mom. In fact, I'm pretty sure you're banned from going out in public due to your negative levels of Riz. You will probably cry, rage, poop your pants, and overall just make your team feel like terrible people because they aren't doing literally everything in their power to peel you and keep you from dying while you're trying to go into melee range against the enemy Jax. I mean, how dare they not reach through the enemy team's screens and turn their computers off so that they can't kill you? How dare they? If you don't get a support like Nami or Melio who perfectly complements every single part of your kit, then you're just going to whine for the entirety of the game because you can't stand the idea of your support not conforming to literally every single thing that you want, and any support player that plays with you best believe that if they miss a single ability, you'll be dashing directly into the enemy team and ulting into a wall. You hit one amazing ult early on in your career of playing Miss Fortune and you've been chasing that high ever since. Your brain is ruined from that dopamine rush and you'll never get it again. I swear to God, I literally haven't seen anyone play this champ besides myself since her release. Like, why is it that no one plays her when she's honestly not that bad from what I can tell off of the stats? Is it that she's not fun for some people? Is it the thought of not being a ranged ADC? Like, what's going on here, man? Oh, you poor bastard, thinking that you were going to get a good ultimate skin only to basically be given a slightly better legendary skin. I'd point and laugh, but that'd be harsh. However, you still play Samira and think that you're better than everyone else because you're an ADC that can destroy a whole team off of one button, so... You paid $30 for a legendary skin. Everyone hates you. Not even just like a strong dislike, no, everyone legitimately hates you and believes that the game of League of Legends would be a better place if you just straight up stopped playing it altogether. Not even like a role swap, just stop playing League of Legends. Best pushing power and wave clear in the game? Check. Super good ability to ward off assassins and engage opportunities all in one? Check. Team-wide buff to make sure your team fights are even better than they normally are? Check. All this and more on somehow the worst ADC ever because none of you know how to position properly. You wanted to initially play him as a support because that's what most people do when they move from mid lane to bottom lane with this champion, but after a few games you realize that being the support also means you have to deal with helping the ADC get ahead, and you didn't want to do that, so now you play him ADC. You are so horny, it's honestly unbelievable. I mean, get yourself together, dude. Like, at least bookmark Rule 34. You don't have to constantly have 50 tabs open taking up all of your RAM because you can't lose your place, whatever that means for that site. You want to be Rat IRL so bad that it's honestly kind of disgusting. Like, you wished you had the ability to do what he does and pray every night to Jesus himself, just wishing that you could even join L9 and be like the cool kids. And I'm here to let you know that it's not happening, buddy. You're gonna stay stuck in bronze forever even after this rank to reset. You either play this champion as full attack speed on hit because arrows go brrrr, or play him full AP because funny number make tank die in one ability. You want to be the equivalent of Gosu or Doublelift back in their glory days. You want so badly for people to think that you're just the coolest League of Legends player to ever have existed. You are so desperate for validation from other people that it's honestly not even sad at this point. It's just pathetic. You're either e-dating your Rakan duo or constantly spouting the absolute worst takes about how OP assassins are while playing an ADC that can go untargetable and has good CC, which will counter any assassin if used properly, but you refuse to learn how to use it properly. Honestly, if you've made it this far in the video, comment down below your take on what being an ADC Yasuo main says about these people. Lord knows there's so many different things I could say about them that I'm just gonna let the comments roast them instead because honestly that's kind of funnier. You love the fact that people hate you. You queue up for ranked solo duo queue every single day knowing that at least 2 people are going to end the game hating you. Whether it's your team or the enemy team, you bask in the attention of people calling you out for playing this champion. I'm honestly not even surprised that only masochists play this champion. You're too much of a coward to bring this champion to mid lane where you might actually face some consequences for your actions, so instead you play him bottom lane so that you can pretty much do whatever you want and never get punished, so you can easily scale up into a burst mage that will eventually just kill all the other ADC roster from 10 light years away. Contrary to popular belief, you actually can milk those. The problem is that those is the massive ego of the Alistar player before they realize that their ult doesn't last forever. You really want to be useful for your team. I mean, 2 long-range forms of CC and one of the best AoE CC ults in the game, but you have no friends, so you settle for the applause of random strangers on the internet. You wish you knew how to play her mid, but CSing is just too hard. You like being somewhere between a mage support and an ADC because you suck at actually landing the skill shots that a mage support requires. You're just a little goober, aren't you? Just a little guy going on a whimsical journey, huh? I know what you did. You think you can get away with it? They'll never forgive you when they find out what you did, and I've got proof. You're going away for a long, long time. You like the idea of one ability landing deciding whether or not you're going to be useful for your team at all. You're probably depressed. Wait, no, scratch that. You are definitely depressed. I love you. I love you in ways that are concerning to God. I love you in ways that I cannot express on YouTube or my channel will no longer be available, but just know that if I could say them, I would. You need therapy. It's obvious that if you play this champion, not even just like in this role, just in general, but especially in this role, that something went wrong in your life and you need therapy and a lot of happy pills to fix it. There's a lot of champions that I could label as e-girl champions, but Janna has to be the most e-girliest champion that exists in the entirety of League of Legends, so in conclusion, you are an e-girl. Even if you're a dude, you love ruining other people's fun as much as possible. You're either a girl who wants to dominate people or a guy who really wants to be dominated. Oh, the things I could say about this champion. The majority of your Discord notifications probably come from guys calling you kitten, regardless of if it's something you want to be called. If we went back through your chat logs, your most typed sentence would probably be, "I didn't steal it on purpose." You don't have friends because you make everyone else's life around you just 10 times worse by existing. You love ruining other people's fun as much as possible. You're the type of person to put a child into timeout and then forget that the child is in timeout and realize that it's been 3 hours and that's why the child is crying. You really want to have fun, but you just can't, no matter what you do. You're probably insecure about your height in real life. You're honestly just the worst and most annoying type of person. Go back to playing prop hunt. You're like the great value version of a Leona main, and honestly it makes it abundantly clear that you're just a bottom. You've definitely watched too many clips of Pyke players pulling off insane plays and escaping off the slightest amount of health and think that you're able to do the same until you remember that you don't have hands, all you have are little nubs like the Powerpuff Girls. You desperately want a Xayah in your life, but you definitely don't deserve a Xayah in your life. You don't exist. Your favorite part of the game is being relevant for a whole year and then never seeing the light of day after that. You are the most insecure person that anyone will ever meet, so much so that it's annoying how insecure you are, which is one of your insecurities. You are the horniest motherfucker I think I have ever met. Even the idea of a woman makes you physically convulse in pleasure. Get help. You are definitely insecure about your height in real life. You think that you'd be good at learning musical instruments or think that you're musically gifted. Think being the key word there. I can't say that I'm an innocent person either, but at least I don't have the entirety of Rule 34 saved to my hard drive. Why are you down here? Like, there's no reason to be here. Just leave, get out, go to mid lane, stop. You wanted to be Light Rocket and do Taric jungle until you realized there's a reason he's in Challenger and you're not, so you went back to being a support player. You're either the most chill person in the entire world, or you will start building AD if your ADC misses one skill shot. You wish you knew how to play a mid, but CSing is just hard. You wish you knew how to play a mid, but CSing is just hard. You enjoy playing a champion that allows you to make dinner and play League of Legends at the same time. You probably keep a counter on your desk that shows the days since you've gotten your last skin, and even though it's annoying, you secretly hope that you make it into the 1000-day club again. You love ruining other people's fun as much as possible.